Thanks for staying with us. Now, some members of communities dotted along the Medina-Adentan highway are threatening to burn more tires and block the highway November 12 to drive home their point about the carnage on the road. They say Thursday's spontaneous protest was just a curtain raiser for their planned peace walk on Monday. The residents say, but for the presence of the police, they would have continued their demonstration to pile pressure on government to finish work on the uncompleted footbridges dotted along the highway. Maxwell Agbagba was at the residence of Mariam Kasim, who died in the latest tragedy, and has come through with this report.
Tears flowing at the residence of the deceased Mariam Kasim. Scores of family members and friends have gathered to commiserate with the family, even as they feign strength and try to console the mother of the 18-year-old first-year student of the West Africa Secondary School. They are exposed by their own grief. Mother of the girl says she had planned to visit Nima, but a call about an activity in her school made her change directions.
She started school just recently. They are the first batch. She just finished. They finished on Wednesday. Her friend asked her to come to school because something was happening. That's how she lost her life. Her teachers and headmaster visited us. They have brought her phone and purse.
A friend of the deceased, Ilham Osman, could not control her emotions. She has been recounting the last interaction she had with her best friend.
We're very close, you see. I'm born on the 13th of October and she was born on the 31st October. So we're so close that the last time I even saw her was on Saturday, last week Saturday. And she was making fun of me that she has completed school and I'm now going to start. Left, I hit her and she was like, Ilham, I won't mind you. I'll catch you next week. So she was like, Ilham, I won't mind you next week. I'll see you next week. That's the last time I saw her, but the day before she died, I was chatting with her on WhatsApp. So then yesterday I was there and my cousin called me and she was like, have you heard what happened? And I'm like, what happened? And she was like, they said Mariam has passed away. And I even insulted her and I cut the call and she was calling again. No, at that same time, someone called my stand. The person was telling my stand that Mariam has passed away. Then the person sent her a picture. That's the time I believe, like, I saw that it's true, Mariam has passed away.
I am back on the Medina-Adentan highway where I've met the father of an 8-year-old boy who was knocked down by a vehicle on Wednesday. He says the spontaneous protest on Thursday is just a curtain raiser. Together with other aggrieved residents, they vowed to burn more ties and block the highway during their planned peace walk on Monday.
Well, even as he speaks, he's getting backing from a lot of the residents who are gathered here. He's saying that on Monday, November 12th, they are going to ban more ties. He says what happened here yesterday was just a curtain raiser.
We still have road minister in this country, transport minister. Are we serious as a Ghanaian? So we block this road, we bend the car, ties, nothing will be done. Are we serious as a country? We have been paying them with taxpayers' money, isn't it? All in the name of none of their daughter or their son will come and cross and car will knock them down. They are always in a VA, going up and down. Look, any minister or any MP, he or she shouldn't try coming here because we can't guarantee their safety.
It's just hours after the protest on the Medina-Adentan highway by residents of Adenta. Well, if you come here, the entire stretch here is covered in soot, and then you can still find the debris of the burnt ties on the the road. It's a busy place today as the police is maintaining a heavy, presence here on this particular highway. They are helping and assisting people who are crossing the roads. You'll find them at various intersections here. We are happy. We've been joined by the Director of Public Relations of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Oklu.
We are going to run 3 shifts. The first in the afternoon, and if it is possible, night shift, to make sure that we ensure the safety of motorists and pedestrians around this area.
Now, Dr. Samuel Kojo Kofi is a resident of Adenta and one of the organizers of Fix Our Footbridges Now. He joins us on the line with more on this. Dr. Kofi, good evening and thanks for joining us. We were made to understand that on Monday you would be embarking on a peaceful march. We are getting reports that that has been postponed. Can you confirm that?
Yes, please. We have postponed it temporarily for 10 working days in order to give the Minister for Road and Highways and his engineers and personnel and the contractors to come and commence fixing of the bridges, the street lights, the traffic lights, the sign, and the road ramps. We had meeting with Assistant Commissioner of Police, Afiye Sechi Superintendent Paul Wesley Ban, MTTD Medina Commander, and then Chief Superintendent Alex Asamoah Frimpong. And we came to an amicable resolution to the fact that within 10 working days, if the minister does not, keep his promises, as he had more or less indicated to the people of Ghana, especially Adenta, with respect to the commencement of the road, of the safety measures and the commencement of the construction work on the footbridges, then within 10 working days, we will go on the peaceful walk.
I see. And has this message been sent down to the residents, the members of the association? Because if you just heard some of the residents we spoke to a while ago, they were firm on their decision to go on a demonstration or hold a similar, block the roads like they did, yesterday.
We had a meeting with the commander. We finished the meeting with the commander around 4 p.m. and then we communicated it to all the members on our WhatsApp platform, and then we've created posters and banners and distributing them, and gradually the message is going out there that the peace walk on Monday has been suspended. We are by the roadside now, trying to assure the community, letting them know that the peace walk has been suspended for 10 working days. Currently, we are by the highway, and a majority of the street lights are working. So basically, we are cautiously optimistic. We are not going to jump the gun and be happy and congratulate anybody. No, we are cautiously optimistic, holding on for 10 working days to see that our demands can be met. Hello?
I'm listening to you, Dr. Kofi.
Yeah. Measures such as fixing the street lights, repairing the traffic lights, and then putting road signs, these measures do not take more than 2 working days. So we know that by the end of 10 working days, all this would have been done, and then we will see contractors on site on the bridges, on the footbridges, and then repairing. So we are calling on the residents of Medina and Adenta to be patient, just to be patient, wait and let's see. But our suspension of the peace walk is not a sign of capitulation or a sign that we have given up. It's a sign of a goodwill offer. It's the responsibility of the state to provide all this. It shouldn't take the state to the extent that the citizens of the neighborhood need to demonstrate spontaneously. There shouldn't be violence before all these are provided. So we are just hoping that whatever they have promised will be done. But we do not trust them because Previously, they said end of October, the 4 bridges, the completion work will commence, the traffic lights will be fixed, the street lights will be fixed, the road signs will be placed as strategic positions on the highway. October ended and nothing was done. So we still do not trust the minister. Probably his emotions are theatrical, and he doesn't mean he's more or less doing that to secure his job, or he's more or less doing it as a form of propaganda. We want safety. We want safety, and we want safety.
Very well.
So all these safety measures are provided. We are still going to mount pressure on the government to provide the basic rights of the people.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. And that was Dr. Samuel Kofi. He is a member of the Fix Our Bridges Now movement there, speaking to us. And as he indicated, the street lights have been fixed. You saw them earlier on our screens. You see them there right now. They are working. He says they've given government 10 working days, which effectively is 2 weeks. We wait to see what happens. Let's stay on this a while longer, because the 18-year-old girl whose death in a vehicular knockdown on the Medina-Adenta highway sparked a spontaneous protest and a blockade of the highway has been buried at a brief ceremony at the Medina Social Welfare Cemetery. Mariam Kasim was returning from the West African Senior High School, where she gained admission in September as part of the Green Track SHS when she was struck down by a vehicle while crossing the 6-lane highway. Residents who witnessed the tragedy on Thursday burnt tires in the middle of the road and stopped traffic in both directions until the police intervened. Joy News' Komla Adom was at the burial ceremony. Here's his report.
Somber atmosphere here at the Medina Social Welfare Cemetery. Muslim prayers are being said to send off Mariam Kasim. The clerics are admonishing the well-wishers and family members to be steadfast and see this tragedy as ordained by Allah. Headmaster of the West Africa Senior High School, Entio Fori, and some students have joined the family to perform the burial rites. Member of Parliament for Medina, Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, believes the death of Mariam has saved many more people from losing their lives on this stretch.
I'm more or less part of the family because her uncles are my friends. And even though it's happened this way normally, when things have to change, it will normally happen to you. So I'm not surprised that the child I used to call my wife, unfortunately, was the last victim that happened yesterday.
He is confident things will not remain the same following the response from government to have 6 contractors move to site to begin work.
This is the message I gave to the fellow mourners by telling them that in Islam, we often believe that there's something that happens that kickstarts another thing. This bridge matter has been in the news for a very long time. But the accident that occurred yesterday was something that has touched even the hearts of the president, all members of parliament, ministers, everybody in Ghana today is highly touched on this issue. And I'm very sure that the president, even though he was outside the country when he heard the news, was not that happy. He instantly issued a statement on this, has instructed the Minister for Roads and Highways immediately to ensure that the bridges are put in shape immediately.
Spokesperson for the family announced final rites will be performed Sunday in what is called Adua.
Mariam have died, let me say, like jihad. Yeah, she died good with nice witness. So Mariam, from here.
Sorry about it.
What this means is that Mariam have died, and she have saved. Maybe she's going to save a lot of people of Medina and Adenta Road. So now we are sad, but we are happy that Mariam's death have going to save some people a lot of people on the bridge. So we thank everybody who comes here and then who maybe we had a lot who have donated a lot for us and then they have done a lot for us. So we thank them very much. May Almighty Allah bless all of them.
The silence of the four walls of the Medina Social Welfare Cemetery from now on will lay the remains of a young girl who lost her life under tragic circumstances in her quest for education. Many family members, relatives, and well-wishers believe her death signifies a major change or a transformation that will see the footbridges on the Adenta-Medina Highway fixed to ensure many more individuals will be saved from being killed by vehicles on that stretch. Reporting for Joy News from the Medina Social Welfare Cemetery, I am Komladum. Joy News.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has expressed his condolences to the family of the late Mariam Kassim, who died on the Medina-Adenta Highway on Thursday. He said in a message on Facebook, and I read, "I express my deep condolences to the family of the student who lost her life yesterday at Adenta after being knocked down by a taxi as she attempted crossing the road on her way from school. Our nation has suffered an unnecessary loss. The scenes that played out in its aftermath are regrettable and should not happen again." The Ministry of Roads and Highways is ensuring that work begins on completion of these bridges in the course of the coming week and has put together a comprehensive plan to address systematically all these infrastructural problems, which are legacies of a past decade of neglect. I would urge drivers and pedestrians to obey and respect the laws on our roads. All of us, government and the citizenry, have a collective responsibility to safeguard and preserve life. My condolences once again to the family. Well, government has meanwhile promised work will resume on the uncompleted footbridges next week. The Ghana Highways Authority had initially proposed end of 2019 for the completion of work on the pedestrian walkways. Roads and Highways Minister Kwesi Amwako-Atta, who visited the stretch on Friday, however, says 6 different contractors are expected to work simultaneously for the footbridges to be completed as soon as possible.
Are going to intensify that. 6 different contractors are going to work on these bridges. Okay, each contractor will tackle one footbridge because time is of essence now. And like I said, within 3 months, maximum 4 months, by end of February, all these footbridges will be in place. And after that, we will do whatever is expected to be done. The bridges will be in place, and we will have to also carry out intensive education. That's why the colleague ministers are working together. But during the interim, we are going to work closely with the police, to ensure that safety is heightened on this stretch of the road. Whatever will have to be provided in a form of road furniture is going to be provided. And you have been briefed by my colleague ministers, Minister for Transport, Minister for Interior. That's why we work together. That's why we have the interministerial committee made up of roads and highways, transport and interior to ensure maximum safety. We work together and we continue to work together, and all interim arrangements are going to be made. Coming from my ministry, the Ministry of Transport and Interior, and the police is here, and the IGP himself is here.
What other road furniture are you going to include so that it will augment this?
We are going to provide some temporary ramps. We are going to provide side crash barriers. We are even going to provide some new jersey barriers, and with all this in place, the police will ensure that until the footbridges come to completion, people are aided to cross the road, successfully.
Now, the police has been criticized for its high-handedness during Thursday's protest on the highway. Some of the protesters were brutalized by the police, and a 14-year-old boy who was with his mother was hit by an ammunition fired by the police who were at the scene. The boy is said to have since been discharged from the hospital. Director General of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, confirmed this to Joy News.
He was treated and discharged at the Nyaho Clinic. Okay. So the boy, thankfully, the boy is out of danger now, and he has been treated and discharged from Nyaho Clinic. That is the information we have now. Okay. I've gone to the Adenta police station. So far, we have not received any report of anybody sustaining any injuries apart from the 14-year-old boy. For now, officially, what we know is that the 14-year-old who was injured has been treated and discharged. I've gone to the police station. We have not had any other report of anybody sustaining injuries as a result of that action. Okay. It was a chaotic situation. Some even people who came with a lot of missiles. You know, when a situation like this happens, the immediate step for the police is to make sure that they disperse the crowd, so that the crowd doesn't build up into a mob. And then from the mob, then we have a riotous situation where people can take advantage. So that was the action that the police took. And in crowd control, the first responders in this incident were our patrol officers. So they came in to restore, and then they called in for the riot control equipment that came with the fire service tenders to douse the fire. So that's what happened.
Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police David Asante Pietu, who was also at the scene Friday, told Joy News' Gifty Ando-Apia the police did what was required to bring the situation under control, and that it is never their intention to maim or kill.
We did not come here to fire at anyone or, to cause any disaffection of the people. We only came here to maintain law and order and then prevent people from causing damage to government's property. That's it.
The people who live around here, I've been hearing them make comments like, why did it take the police so long? Even though they may not necessarily understand that fixing the footbridge is not more of the police than what the police does on the road. I'm wondering what will be the strategy going forward that the police will put in place to build a relationship between, especially the Adenta police station and the residents who live here?
Well, as part of our transformation agenda, the strategy is to interact with the community. We will continue to do that. As and when certain issues come up, we will explain it to the community for them to understand our workings so that in future we can together collaborate and then do their work.
We've also seen your men on the road. How long are they going to be on the road stopping the vehicles to allow people to cross the road?
Well, we're going to do that together with the community education. So as they are here, we'll also be talking to the people in the community about the use of the road. It's becoming very dangerous. We are all aware. If you look at the fatalities that have been recorded here, I think we'll have to educate ourselves on the use of this road at this particular time.
Now, Parliament's Government Assurances Committee is cautioning the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Road Safety they will be held accountable if they fail to meet the latest deadline for construction of footbridges on the Adenta-Medina Highway. MPP MP for Mansour Dubia and Chairman of the committee, Yao Frimpong Ado, says they will be monitoring.
Various assemblies on that stretch too, I also blame them. The MTTU, that's what I said, it is institutional failure that has brought us this far. I think I believe in what the people did yesterday. They must hold some of us accountable. We, government assurances, is going to be one of the things that we are going to follow, because you remember the roads minister and the interministerial committee that has been formed, they've come out with a statement. So we take it that this is a public statement, that within a certain period, they are going to ensure, exactly, they are going to ensure that the pedestrian walkways or footbridges are completed. We are going to follow it to the letter. It is one thing that I told some of my committee members that this is good for us, and we monitor it. We are going to be on their necks to pursue them. That is the word. That is the key parliamentary word. That we are going to pursue them to ensure that they satisfy this thing that they've promised.
When you say you believe in what they did yesterday, what does that mean?
At times, I tend to go the Jerry way a little bit. Some positive defiance, even in democracy, serves a purpose. And this one, you see hurriedly, the way the affected ministries have come together today, they are going there. So that was positive.
You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Ara Bakumsen. Now we're taking a breather now. You're welcome back. Now, a social media campaign against the payment of tolls on the Accra-Tema motorway appears to be catching on, with several motorists refusing to pay for the use of the route. At least 6 videos of motorists refusing to pay the toll have been making the rounds. Jojo Kobina observed the situation on the motorway and reports that indeed motorists have vowed they will not pay their tolls until potholes on the stretch are fixed.
The 19-kilometer Accra-Tema motorway was opened to traffic in 1965, but over the years, the road has seen little maintenance, so several portions of the road has deteriorated. The stretch is riddled with gaping potholes, and in the holes are exposed iron rods, making it very dangerous driving on the motorway. Motorists unfamiliar with the stretch dangerously slump into the potholes. With the concrete on the road wearing off, it is a disaster in waiting. Motorists have started a campaign not to pay road tolls. 6 videos are circulating on social media showing drivers refusing to pay road tolls.
Madam, we are not Amen.
There is a simmering, brewing protest on the Accra-Tema motorway. Some drivers have refused to pay road tolls. They are saying that until government works hard to fix the potholes, they will not pay road tolls.
Thomas Hammond, a road toll coordinator, confirms some drivers refuse to pay road tolls.
Some people come in and they refuse to pay. Can you tell us what is true and why?
No, it is true, because when they go on the road, there are potholes on the road, so they don't have to pay.
So what do you tell them when they come and they say they don't want to pay? What do you tell them?
Well, we plead with them for them to plow on the road, but they don't agree.
Something like this. What can you do about it?
Oh, you have to tell my boss that there's potholes on the road, so they have to repair it.
Some of the toll booth attendants say in order not to hold up traffic, they do not argue with the drivers. Ephraim just drove through the toll booth area and refused to pay.
I mean, our tire got burst on the way, and then it was just God's interference. And I can't need to actually, baby. You understand? So for me, I have said it that me motor into Atobium.
So did you pay?
I didn't pay. I won't pay too. You expect me to pay and go and die? I'm paying to use a road which nobody wants to repair, which the authorities don't want to repair, to die. See, we might see it as a joke, you understand? But yesterday, if I had died, or if me, myself, and my squad were dead, you would just cry for 1 week, and that's all. Like, I'm gone.
Other motorists agree with him, arguing until the potholes are fixed, they will not pay.
What are they waiting for? They want people's lives to be lost before they take action? Why do we pay this toll at all? I'm wondering. Why do we pay? I think that there should be a campaign, a drive, so that at least one day nobody should pay.
Today, when I was paying the toll, I want the guys to tell their boss that they should fix the potholes. It's really dangerous.
You want them?
Yes, I told them. I won't pay. If they don't fix it, the next time I pass, I won't pay. Yeah, I'm not going to pay toll. We've been paying since time immemorial, and it's not been fixed. I think if we stop paying, they will fix it.
When are you going to stop paying?
Maybe next week. If it's not fixed, I won't pay toll. I'll just pass.
Perhaps government should fulfill promises of fixing the road to quell the brewing protest that has the potential of blowing up in the future. Jojo Kobner, Joy News.
So you heard in that report some motorists refusing to pay road tolls, but we must put on record that it is against the law not to pay road tolls. Well, in sharp contrast to the situation on the Medina-Denton Highway here in Accra, where residents are protesting the failure to complete footbridges dotted along the stretch, a footbridge at the KNUST junction in Kumasi is said to have been made a white elephant. Whilst the residents at Medina and Adenta are eager to have new footbridges or their footbridges completed to stop the carnage on the highway, pedestrians in Kumasi are said to be still risking their lives to cross the highway there 3 years after the footbridge was completed. Nana Sensumensa has been interacting with some road users on the use of the footbridge.
So previously, there were a lot of road accidents happening here at Tech Junction. Then authorities decided to construct this footbridge to help reduce the number of road accidents occurring here at Tech Junction. But after the construction of the footbridge, some pedestrians still prefer crossing the road without using the footbridge. Then again, city authorities constructed this wire mesh to prevent pedestrians from using this side of the road. Then they still walk all the way from where they're supposed to use a footbridge to where the wire mesh ends and then cross the road. Now the question is, why has it become so? It's a possibility, but as I said, because of the traffic, so you don't have a lot of fast-moving cars, so people find it relatively easy. So you find even a lot of old women with walking sticks trying to cross. And I don't know about the casualties, but I don't think they are that high. And I agree it's dangerous, and I mostly try to use the footbridge. But then, as I said, when the car brings you over here, it's much more easier. Like it just hits you to just go over, since you can quickly get to your destination. But
it is very dangerous when crossing the road, but for me, I find it difficult to walk all the way and climb the footbridge.
I find it difficult. I find
the footbridge has helped reduce road accidents at this spot. Some pedestrians are stubborn and they still won't use the footbridge.
Nana Asensumensa reporting.
Now, the Electoral Commission has assured Parliament all is set for next month's referendum on the creation of new regions. Despite concerns about low publicity, the absence of a constitutional instrument and government's refusal to publish in full recommendations of the Justice Brobe Commission on the creation of new regions, the EC says it is completing processes for the exercise. Officials of the Commission Friday met MPs on preparations. Joseph Opokugapo has more.
Of the Electoral Commission, led by Jean Mensah, met members of the Special Budget Committee of Parliament, led by the Majority Leader Seiche Mensah Bonsu. A member of the committee, Yan Frimpong Ado, tells Joy News they assure the committee that all is set.
From the Commissioner herself and her deputies and all the officers there, there's every indication that they have a roadmap which they are going to prosecute to the letter. And as far as we are concerned, everything that they need, especially budgetary allocations, Everything has been given to them. Whatever purchases they want to make, they have the latitude to do it. And so far, so good. Everything is on course, and we are going to have the referendum 27 December.
On the floor of Parliament, the minority leader, Haruna Iddrisu, raised issues with the constitutional instrument that has been laid here in Parliament, which would be the legal basis for which this referendum would come off.
If it was an LI, we will relate it to the Parent Act in order to understand the issues thereon. Now that the constitutional instrument is based on the Commission of Inquiry the President appointed under Article 5, we demand that the report of the Justice Brobe Committee be made available to Parliament, and in particular to the Committee of Statutory Legislation, to guide their work.
On the 30th of October, the constitutional instrument for the creation of the regions was laid. But Mr. Speaker, I haven't seen any colleague who has got a copy of that document yet. So I'm not sure whether we can assume that the 21 days is counting. If nobody has got a copy, then maybe we should reconsider the fact that maybe then it's probably not late because nobody has got a copy.
Mr. Yao Frimpong Addo is insisting that there are a lot of legislations that have come through Parliament that MPs have not seen copies of, and they've gone ahead to mature.
Me standing here talking to you right now, it hasn't come to my pigeonhole, and we don't have to see it. It's for the table office and leadership, because a lot of things are laid here. That's you don't see copies. But once they are counted, because at the end of the day, it will come back to us for us to look at it.
I'm surprised my colleague will say that, because to the ordinary person watching this program, they think that when constitutional instrument or legislative instrument are laid in Parliament, every member of Parliament automatically gets a copy. So I think it's the wrong thing to give the impression that certain bills are in the House, members of Parliament are aware, and then when it matures and we find fault with it, then people say, well, but you were all along, what were you doing?
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says government is looking at the possibility of a more frequent plan of reimbursement of claims to the National Health Insurance Scheme instead of the quarterly payments. He said it was important for government to address the issue of arrears of the NHIS going forward. He was speaking at the 60th anniversary of the Baptist Medical Center in the Northern Region.
The Vice President said this when he joined the staff and people of the Baptist Medical Center to climax its 60th anniversary celebration in Nalerugu in the East Mamprisi municipality of the Northern Region. He said government had cleared all arrears of the scheme.
There was a state in which the health service was returning to cash and carry. The arrears had piled up from 2014 to 2016. I'm happy to tell you that we have cleared all the arrears from 2014 to 2016. We've paid for 2017 and we are paying for 2018. It is very, very important that we address this issue of arrears as a government going forward. Incidentally, we invited the CEO of the NHIS, Dr. Arnaud, to the economic management team just on Tuesday, and we had some very robust discussions on the financing of the NHIS going forward. And we are discussing issues especially in relation to the payments and the reimbursements and the frequency of payments and reimbursements. Because it is very clear that if you get into a situation where arrears become very endemic and systematic, then you will start seeing a move of the health sector back to cash and carry. So we want to even look at the possibility of a more frequent disbursement rather than the quarterly disbursement that we are seeing.
Dr. Bawumia commended the management of the hospital for the numerous successes they have chalked.
We should all be proud of the numerous achievements of the center as the administrator listed in his remarks. And let me repeat a few of these. Not many people know that over 200 patients a day walk through this hospital. The hospital carries out an average of 5,000 major and minor surgeries yearly and over 3,000 deliveries a year. Not many people know that you provide free nutrition services to malnourished clients. That your unique way of treating malnourished children